Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Jenna Vreugdenhil. I'm a proud member of the Text and Church team, and more importantly, a member and volunteer at my local church. Today, I'm going to talk about member communication and 5 areas you can use text messaging to boost engagement and connection. I'll share very specific, tangible strategies that you can use at your church. However, before we dive into the practically how to do this, I want to talk a little bit about the why. Church has always been a big part of my life. I grew up in church. I'm raising my children in the church. I serve at my church every week. And I work for a company committed to equipping churches with the best tech tools possible. My heart longs for every person to experience a sense of hope and belonging I've found in every church that I've been a part of. COVID taught us that different circumstances in life make connecting hard. I recently chatted with an elderly man about church. He's in his 80s and lives in a nursing home. At this moment in history, he watches church service online every Sunday. But he's been an active part of his church for over 50 years. The first words out of his mouth when I asked about church was, "They don't care about me anymore. All they care about is the new young people." You'd think they would at least send us a message or check in on us, but I've only heard from them once in the last 8 months. Oh man, that broke my heart. In one breath, I heard from him, and another, I wanted to defend the church and how hard it's been to navigate the ever-changing shifts in our churches. He felt forgotten, not valued, even hurt by the church. And he wasn't the only one I heard similar stories from. I've talked to some young families, singles, empty nesters, and I was hearing the same things. As I dug deeper with each individual I spoke with from all different ages and walks of life, I found out that what they were missing and really hoping for from their church was quite simple. They wanted someone to connect with them. Fortunately, we have more tools now to stay connected than ever before. It's just that the church hasn't been using them. What grieves me the most is these people are dearly loved, and they're important in our congregations. You know that. I know that. But they need to know that. It took COVID and extreme isolation for us to realize people want to stay connected with us more often than just at Sunday service, which is actually good news. So let's nail down how we do that without running ourselves into the ground, right? Let's do some real quick housekeeping, and then we'll really dive in here. So throughout this presentation, I'm going to talk about easy buttons. You can find them in your conference playbook. I will also mention various resources throughout the presentation, which are free to you, and you will find them under my session under resources. All right, on to the good stuff. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about 5 areas you can use text messaging as a touch point to connect with your congregation. So before I jump into these 5 strategies, you may be asking why I chose text messaging. Texting has always seemed like a natural communication channel for me. Here's why. When I want to check in with my mom or a friend, I send them a text message. When I have a prayer request, I send my best friend a text message. When I am in need of something, I send my family or my friends a message asking if they can help. When I feel the Lord prompting me to encourage someone, you can probably guess it, I either send them a text message to invite them for coffee, or I explicitly share what the Lord is showing me through a text message. We're not talking about mass text messages about updates at your church or sending a newsletter. These are personal, intimate conversations that lead to relationship building. People aren't looking for a friendly church. They're looking for friends at church. Texting is how I live in relationship with people. It's not the ends or replacement of in-person interaction, but it's where the start of those interactions blossom. It's not just the communication channel I use because it's what I like, but it's also the most relevant communication channel I can use for people I'm in relationship with. Here at Text and Church, we talk a lot about text messaging, obviously, but specifically texting as a part of your first-time guest follow-up plan. However, something our amazing members have taught us is that texting is a critical component in member communication as well. Members can be just as desensitized to your emails and weekly announcements as guests can. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. So if you really want to boost engagement and make sure your messages are heard, then texting has got to be a part of the plan. I know that when I send a text message, it's going to be read because 90% of texts are read within 3 minutes. Emails, well, they're only read 20% of the time. But check this stat out. Text messages have a 45% response rate, whereas emails only have around a 6% response rate. That is some really powerful data that we have. And 91% of phone users keep their phone within 3 feet of them 24 hours a day. It'd be pretty rare that my messages would slip through the cracks or go unseen. Now, stop for just a second. Where is your iPhone? Is it within arm's reach? My guess is it is, just like mine. The proof is in the pudding. Texting is the number one way people communicate. I'm not saying that texting is the only way, and I'm not encouraging you to be texting all the time without any boundaries around how you use it. Texting is a powerful piece of a comprehensive communication plan. This will save you time and headache and keep your members feeling known, noticed, and loved. And as a church leader, that is powerful. It will happen that you'll communicate via email or during your announcements or on social media, and it will get missed. But a text message sent straight to someone's phone, you can count on that being seen and read. All right, do you want to hear another crazy stat? 23 billion text messages are being sent each and every day. Can you imagine that? 23 billion text messages are being sent every day. And then the question comes, how many is your church sending? Is your church leveraging the most prevalent way of communicating? The most effective way of communicating that we have at our fingertips? Our pockets, actually. Are you guys taking advantage of that? I'm passionate about this. As I shared, I love the local church and I have a heart for sharing the love of Jesus with others. I'm so proud to be a part of the Text and Church team because it's given me a front row seat to over 8,000 churches that are using text messages to reach more people and connect with their congregation. We've learned a lot from churches around the country, and I'm so excited to share it with you. So let's go ahead and dive on in. The first strategy to connect with your members is what we call the Sermon Series Bump. This is a simple invite to church on Sunday. Whether you're worshiping online or in person, a simple text message inviting them to your next series or sermon on Sunday makes them know that you anticipate them, hoping they'll join you. It keeps your church in the front of their mind as they go into the weekend, and it's just one more touch point where they feel seen. And I don't have to convince you why that's important. We know that even regular church attendees are only showing up for services 2 out of the 4 Sundays per month. So these invitations are not lost on members. They're so impactful. Here's what the message could look like. Hey Jane, we would love for you to join us online this Sunday at 9. It's going to be a great time of worship. And if you're starting a new series, you simply send them the new theme or chapter with a quick invite and watch your attendance grow on Sunday. All right, I'm going to talk about a sticky subject here for a second. One of the reasons churches aren't great at communication is we rely too heavily on our e-newsletters. Most churches are sending out some type of weekly, bi-weekly, twice a week e-newsletter email that has a bunch of information in it. And if we look at our open rates, most of us are getting around a 20% open rate. But an open rate just simply means that the email was opened. It doesn't mean that anything was read. So what's happening is we're relying on this email to go out to our congregation when only 20% even open it and far less than that actually read it. So you might be actually having your email read by 5%, right? That's a problem. If we're only getting our message out to 5% of our folks, we have a major problem. And so I want us to assume that the e-newsletter is not a functional way to get information out to people. It does serve a purpose, so I'm not here to tell you not to do it. That's totally up to you if you want to do it. But the purpose that I believe in the e-newsletter is that it's a really great place for branding. It legitimizes your community. So if, for example, you're a church that's meeting in a school, right? This might be a really good way for you to be able to add legitimacy to what you're doing. So there is a definite purpose for e-newsletters, but effective communication is not it. Remember, those people want to feel known, noticed, and loved. Sending personal messages is more impactful for that. Now, I have a free sermon series bump resource with copy and paste templates that you can download. Just click the link below in the resources section, or click the easy button in your playbook to load those sermon series bump messages right into your Text and Church account. and they will send the messages for you. So I want to point this out. It's not the church's responsibility to tell folks what communication channels they should prefer. It is the church's responsibility to accommodate people's communication preferences. Just because it's easy for us to leverage the newsletter doesn't mean that that's the way people want to receive it. So I want to point that out because I think it matters a lot. I think that's a really big deal. Let me share this from Pastor Henderson. This program has enhanced our ability to keep an open line of communication with our members. We've seen our attendance increase for various functions and services. And here's Pastor Elaine Huff. The most effective message that we have used is they receive a text from our lead pastor on Saturday afternoon that just simply says, "Hope to see you tomorrow." We get the highest percentage of replies from those texts. Something so simple. They're just simply saying, "We hope to see you tomorrow." And then people show up or people reply. Either way, that's starting the conversation, and that is what's so powerful. All right, now let's move on to strategy number 2. Ask your people how you can be praying for them. This is super simple. Send a text message out to your regular attendees or maybe even people you haven't seen in the last 6 to 12 months. Here's what that message could say. "Hi, Sam. How can I be praying for you this week?" My church has found that this specific message has got them the most replies, and they've been able to meet local needs for people who are sick, going through financial troubles, and need encouragement. Now, here's a pro tip. Rotate different segments of your congregation to ask this question to. That's what my church does. For example, you could ask a college student that same question on Monday of the first month, the young families on the second Monday of the month, and then the rest of the congregation on the third Monday of the month. So your team has the time to adequately respond to these needs. We are cruising along here. Texting strategy number 3. Send messages to the parents of your youth. Parents have had a weird year. Some have been homeschooling, learning how to be a teacher, and navigating how they do life as a family with those they love. They need your support, encouragement, and prayers. Here are a few text messages you could send. "Hey, Allie, we are so thankful to have your kiddo in children's ministry. How can I be praying for your family?" Or how about this? "Hey, Jenna, this Wednesday night, our message will be on forgiveness. I wanted to equip you with how to take this conversation further at home, so check your email for a discussion guide." Or you could send just a simple message like this. "Hi, Jack, how is your family doing?" All right. Text messaging strategy number 4 is for our leaders. We're talking small group leaders, those on your leadership team, or even your staff. A simple word of encouragement can go a long way in making those leaders feel empowered and appreciated. Try sending a message like this. "Joe, wow, I'm so thankful to have you on our team. You are such a blessing to City Church." Or, "I just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for playing such an important role at City Church. Know that what you do matters." All of our ministry areas in your church are important. We've actually put together a text messaging playbook that has over 67 copy and paste text messages that you can be sending different groups in your church, including your leadership. You'll find this free resource under my session under resources. And finally, text messaging strategy number 5 is for your volunteers. Not only are your volunteers a critical part in making church run on Sunday mornings, but they have the capability to be the hands and feet in making some of those personal connections with those in your community or elderly. It is critical that we are investing in our volunteers and have a workflow of messages to send them. This starts when they are brand new volunteers, and it carries on through their ministry time at your church, and even as someone transitions out of a volunteer space. See it as a place to not only equip new volunteers, but encourage them and let them know you're here to support them. Let's think through some ways that we can do follow-up right. Let's just assume here that somebody has signed up to serve. So we've asked folks if they were interested in being part of the hospitality team to text serve to the number on your screen, and they did that. They're going to get a text message back that says, "Hi, Jenna, thanks for signing up to serve. I'm excited to have you on the team. I'll send you an email with more details." That's simple, right? Now let's also send a reminder. "Hey, Jenna, just a reminder, we'll meet at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning to prepare for worship. See you there." This could be automated. You wouldn't have to do anything here. But what you're doing is you're starting these conversations with people. Now they're going to text back. They're going to say, awesome, looking forward to it. Then we can have a little bit more conversation that starts right from that. The third one, what we're going to do is validate them. We're going to say, Jenna, I'm so thankful to have you on the hospitality team. Pastor Joe. And notice it says Jenna there. Every message that we send out, we can personalize. So it can say, hi, Judy. Hi, Steve. Hi, Tyler. I'm so thankful to have you on the hospitality team. Then let's encourage them. Wow, thanks so much for all that you do to make our worship awesome each Sunday. You're the best. Pastor Joe. You see how simple these things are? But can you imagine the impact? What if you do that for every one of the people that serves each Sunday for you? Or what if that's how you followed up with your first-time guests? What if we leverage a tool to be able to do this for us? Here's what Pastor Evan Black says. We're so excited to be using text in church. It has already saved us countless hours and given us an opportunity to be creative and consistent with our follow-up and communications. And how about Pastor Marcus Brady? He says, text in church is our megaphone to the masses. Text in church is a tremendous blessing to our ministry. It is an amazing tool to keep our flock in the know of what's going on in our church. Teddy Deppner says, the problem solved by text in church, a lot of people don't check email. They don't see posts on Facebook. And even though they want reminders about church events, they still miss those other avenues. People want a text, but without an automated system, there's no way we could send a text reminder to everyone. We have thousands of these stories of pastors and churches that are leveraging technology, leveraging text messages to communicate and to engage and to have massive impact on their church. The messages above are all automated messages as a part of the flow of someone signing up to volunteer. You'll find this volunteer easy button of messages in our playbook as well. So don't forget to hop into the playbook and find that big orange button. You can also just send these volunteers some one-off messages like these. Good morning, Todd. Just want you to know how much I value you being a part of our volunteer team. We couldn't do it without you. Then occasionally you can vision cast new opportunities. For example, hi, Jen. We want to extend Christ's love to the elderly in our community by dropping off cookies. Would you be interested in helping us make that happen? By making your volunteers feel valued, appreciated, and needed, they will feel more connected to the congregation and eager to help. As we start to wrap up, I want you to really think about what is the one thing you took away from this presentation that you're going to implement? What is the one thing that you're going to implement within the next 24 hours that's going to have an impact on your church? Because let's be honest, if all we did was come here and talk about this stuff and we don't actually implement any of it, then I've wasted your time and frankly, I've wasted mine. That's not why either of us are here. We're here because we know that we can have an impact on our church and on our community. And so that's what I want for you. We've discussed how the local church can leverage text messaging to connect in deeper ways with their members, volunteers, and leaders. Inviting people to church, asking how you can pray for them, walking alongside families, and equipping and encouraging your leaders and volunteers are just some of the ways you can make your people feel connected and your congregation more unified.